travels, and we drove some crazy routes, you know, on the trip, and everything seemed fine. It wasn't until we were on that hill, and so we're stuck on this dirt patch right off the ferry area, and it's like we cannot go anywhere. So I have AAA, and then coincidentally, there's a tow truck guy across the street. So we're like, oh, that's a good relief. So Linda goes over and talks to him, and, you know, he's like, well, I'm pretty much almost done for the night, actually. I'm kind of like the last guy, because it's kind of a small island. It's only like 60 miles by 15 miles, pretty much. And he's like, you know, I'm kind of, you know, being done for the night. I got one more car I gotta go pick up, but go ahead and call your AAA, and they'll dispatch me, you know, whenever, whatever. So I was like, okay. And at the same time, he was dropping a car off at the shop across the street, which was a brake specialist. So we're like, yeah, we're saved. It'll be all good, you know? But no, the shop, of course, was closed. The guy was pretty much off his shift nearly. And I'm just like, so what does this mean, you know? And it was like, this was now, I think, like Thursday night. So at 5:30 or something. And I was like, oh my God, you know? And I know we were on an island, so I'm like, I know things. Just being on the island within a couple minutes, I could tell things are pretty scarce. It's like Farmville out there. You know, there isn't much out there. And I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So we called AAA, and, you know, we're waiting and waiting. In the meantime, we have Scott, which is Linda's husband, and their best friend, Jimmy. So they drove straight shot to the house, to their new house in Oak Harbor, Washington. 15 hours. They drove straight. We're like, they're fucking crazy. I was glad we had the dogs so we could stop, let them out, walk. I cannot do 15 hours straight. Like, they took 2 separate cars, too. So it's not even like they switched drivers. I'm just like, those boys were fucking out of their minds. I don't understand why. They didn't have to do that way, but they did. So anyways, we call them to come get me and Linda and the dogs, and I pull out what is super important to me in the van. So it's like, what do you have that is super important? So it was take the bike, take all our stuff for our trip, take all my important stuff. You know, because we didn't, you know, and the only reason I was okay to leave the van where I did, because it was an island. Island people are really awesome and very sweet, and it's very much Farmville, so people are very respectful, so I was okay. So anyways, the tow truck driver guy is like, hey, I'll tow the van in the morning, just put the keys over in that box. And I'm like, what? No, no. And he's like, I'll tow it in the morning. And I look at Linda like, I'm so nervous to do this. But the box was on the cat was on the door to the brake shop place. So they ended up towing it in the morning to another shop that was like AAA approved. And I hope I got my AAA discount, come to think of it. I'll have to look at the paperwork. So anyways, they tow it closer to Linda and Scott's house. So at least it was closer for us to go get it and everything else. And it took them a day and a half pretty much to work on the brakes. And in the meantime, I am so severely sick at Linda and Scott's house. I think my nerves, I think I caught what Linda had. I was exhausted. Just everything. I think totally the stress of the breaks and like what else, and I have so much more of this journey to go, and like what am I gonna do, how much is it gonna cost? I saved up a lot of money, but still, you never know, you know. I don't have credit cards, so I was just like, oh my God. So I started getting really sick, and so then Saturday they're like, oh, the van is ready, come pick it up. And I told Linda and Scott, I'm like, I'm gonna rest for a little bit longer. I know they don't close till 5, so we'll pick it up before then. So I go back to bed for a while because I'm so sick. Like, I just know I need to rest. And by the way, Linda and Scott's house is gorgeous. It's got an awesome view, but the thing is, it rains so much in Oak Harbor, and it's so windy and so cold. You just get to see the view from inside your house, you know. You don't get to be, you know, maybe in the summertime a little bit, you can enjoy outside, but it just kind of sucks, the weather, you know. So you just stay inside and watch the view, you know, but it's pretty cool. Anyways, so I wake up in the afternoon on Saturday, and I'm like, okay, I rested enough, let's go get the van. And they're like, we already got it for you. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are amazing, you know. And then we went out to eat and all that other stuff. So then I stayed through Sunday because I still was so sick. I'm like, I just need one more day to recuperate because I knew how much of a journey I had going back. So then Monday morning comes and I clean out the van because we had everything set up a certain way for Linda and Bella and things like that. So now, you know, I clean out the van, prepare it for the trip with Spike and I. And then Monday midday, I, you know, set up my Sirius XM radio I'd gotten and everything else. So that was cool. So I set all that up. So I left Monday afternoon and I met up with my friend Justin in Vancouver. And the Justin, as in Just Incredible TV. So I met up with him. And so my GPS that I had, I thought would work. I mean, we had a little bit of trouble with it, I guess because it's a little bit older. So I told Linda, you know, because noticed she had her phone going. So when we did the trip to her house, she was like, you know, your GPS is off a little. I was like, it is? Because in town I never noticed anything different. It always seemed fine. She was like, she had her phone going and she was like, you know, it's a little off. It's telling us to go the old 101 when now they have the new 101 or something like that. So at a certain point, we just used her phone. And I said, what am I going to do when I go to Canada, you know? And she's like, just use your phone. What am I going to do the rest of the trip? Just use your phone. I was like, okay. Well, to get from Oak Harbor, Washington, to Vancouver, well, my phone did not really work. And I had cell signal on and off and GPS on and off and all that other stuff. And so I tried to go back to using my GPS. Well, it doesn't, I guess my GPS is so old that I didn't realize it doesn't have Canada in there. And then my phone barely worked, and I'm driving around trying to find where I'm supposed to be meeting Justin, and we were going to meet after he got off of work. And we've talked a lot, you know, in the past and everything else, and, you know, so I'm driving around, I'm lost, waiting for the signal to keep picking up, you know, because it pick up, drop, and I'm like, I don't get this, I don't believe this is fucking ridiculous. So anyways, I'm driving, and all of a sudden, something tells me, look up. So I look to my right, and I see his van parked in a parking lot plaza. I was like, you know, are you fucking serious? And I'm like, what are the odds? You know, I'm so lost all around. So, you know, I pull over and I said, hey, I happen to find your van while getting lost, trying to find where I'm supposed to meet you. You know, and he's like, yeah, well, I'm not off work till like 7 or something, but I'll still meet you at the address we had what we said. And I was like, okay, I thought I had it easy, right? Finding his van just out of coincidentally. That's how it was meant to be. But no, I still had to go find somewhere else. But somehow I managed to find where we were supposed to meet, which was a Walmart parking lot. Woo. Also, when I went over the Canadian border, I will show you or tell you guys another video about that and that whole ordeal. Everything went out fine. But I will do that in another video. I forgot to mention that. Everything was okay. It was my first time crossing over the border, you know. So I'll do that in another video. So we met, and it was so cool to have, I bought a new GPS at Walmart. Yay. It was like $98, you know. So you gotta count for things like that you may ever have to buy on trips, whatever. Anyways, so we met, and it was like meeting your old friend for, you know, again in a long time. You know, it was so crazy to have like seen him. You know, we never Skyped or anything. It was so crazy to see him and just instantly be like the connection, the chemistry. It was just like, oh my God. Like, you're cooler in person than you are on your videos. Like, I knew you were a cool person, and I always seem to agree with everything he says, and I always find him funny, and, like, in real life, he's even more, like, fun, you know? Like, it's just, like, I was like, man, I wish we had more people like you back home. So anyways, we hung out for the night, and then we slept in the same parking lot, not in the same van, okay, people? And then, which was great, because I was so sick, and being in a different land, completely different continent, country, whatever. So it was really great, you know, to have that security, you know. And then in the morning, he did an interview with me about my van and with Spike and everything, so you can go find that interview on his channel, and I'll probably talk a little more about that in another video. But you can go to Just Incredible TV on his YouTube channel and go check out my video of my van, and that was so much fun. Oh my god, he is such a fun person. Like, if you ever get the honors, and I felt very honored to get to meet him. First of all, get to hang out with him, have a beer with him, and he's such a busy guy. So I was just like, oh my god. And the fact, like, we had like instant chemistry. Like, it was so fun, you know? Like, it was just, we had an awesome time, you know? And, you know, he got to do a tour of my van, which was cool because I haven't done a new tour in a very, very long time. And, you know, and to see all the feedback from his watchers, subscribers, viewers, that was like, oh my god, so awesome. Like, you know, that was totally off my bucket list now, in a way, in a weird way. But, so anyways, so I see him, and then after we do the tour in the morning of my van and everything, he has to go to work, and I'm so bummed. I'm just like, please hang out more. And the sun came out finally, and it was gorgeous weather. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, now where do I go? What do I do? But I started really feeling sick again. So I'm like, I better head back over to the States. So I called my friend Steven, and I was going to meet him in Eugene, Oregon, because that's where he lives. And I had wanted to visit Seattle, but I was just so sick, and I'm just like, forget it. I just can't even manage, you know? I don't even want to deal with driving through there, figuring it out, nothing. I was so sick. So I told Steven, hey, I'm heading towards your neck of the woods. I don't know if